Introducing the Pioneers Room,
where we'll make exhibits for some of many real-life people
who did things that have never been done before.
Amelia Earhart was the first woman ever to fly an airplane all the way across the Atlantic Ocean alone.
Amelia Earhart loved adventure, so she became an airplane pilot. That's someone who flies an airplane.
Amelia Earhart flew across the Atlantic Ocean faster than anyone ever by being prepared. Ibn Battuta was a Muslim explorer from the Meriden Sultanate, which is now called Morocco. He loved to travel and visit new places, and became one of the greatest travelers of all time.
Ibn Battuta was born over 700 years ago, way before planes, trains, or even cars were invented. So visiting new places wasn't easy, but that didn't stop him from traveling all over.
Ibn Battuta spent almost 30 years visiting different countries, meeting new people, and experiencing new cultures.
Junko Tabei was the first woman to climb to the top of the tallest mountain in the world, Mount Everest.
Junko Tabei never gave up, no matter how hard the climb up Mount Everest was.
Junko Tabei reached the top of Mount Everest by putting one foot in front of the other, even when things got tough.
James Naismith was an athlete and an inventor who had the never-before-thought-of idea for a game where you throw a ball into a basket.
James Naismith needed a fun game that he could play inside with nothing more than a ball and some baskets. The game he came up with was basketball.
It may have changed a little, but basketball is still played today, all over the world, thanks to James Naismith's idea.
Nikola Tesla was one of the biggest thinkers ever who figured out how to use electricity to power so many things we use every day.
Nikola Tesla's biggest idea ever was to use moving water to make electricity, and it changed the world.
Nikola Tesla was born in 1856, when people didn't have anything. That meant no lights. Leonardo da Vinci did so many amazing things. He was a painter, a builder, and an inventor who came up with never-before-thought-of ideas.
Leonardo da Vinci loved trying many different activities like painting, sculpting, and building bridges.
Leonardo da Vinci didn't just paint or make statues or build things. He dreamed up ideas for lots of stuff we still use today. Introducing the Changemakers Room,
where we'll make exhibits for some of many real-life people
who helped change the world to be a better place.
Harriet Tubman was super courageous, smart, and heroic. She had the courage to help herself and others, rescuing a lot of people, even though it was really scary.
Harriet Tubman was one of the leaders of a secret group of brave individuals called the Underground Railroad, who helped people escape from slavery to freedom.
Harriet Tubman helped so many people. She's as close as it gets to a real-life superhero.
Confucius was one of the wisest people of all time. Being wise means he knew a lot, like how to live a good life by being kind to people.
Confucius believed you should treat others as you would like to be treated, with respect and kindness.
Confucius grew up to be a teacher, helping more people to learn what is now called the Golden Rule.
Rosa Parks worked her whole life to make sure everyone was treated equally, so all people could drink from the same water fountains, go to the same schools, and sit wherever they liked on the bus.
Rosa Parks was born in the United States over 100 years ago. Back then, people were treated differently, just because of their skin color. It was really unfair, and took people people like Rosa Parks to help change.
Rosa Parks stood up for herself and others, and what she did changed the world. Jonas Salk was a scientist who cared a lot about helping people and keeping kids safe and healthy.
Jonas Salk tried to figure out answers to tough questions, like how to stop kids from getting a sickness called polio.
Jonas Salk's work protected millions of kids from getting polio so they could run, jump, and play. Helen Keller was someone very special. She couldn't see or hear anything, but not being able to see or hear did not stop Helen from learning to read or write.
Helen Keller learned to do so many things, but in a different way, like learning to read stories by touch with Braille.
Once Helen Keller's teacher found the best way to learn, Helen didn't just learn to read and talk, she learned lots of different languages and wrote tons of books.
Rachel Carson was a marine biologist who studied plants and animals in the ocean. She helped people learn we can all help the Earth.
Rachel Carson cared so much about protecting the Earth that she wrote 3 books which totally changed how people think about the ocean.
Rachel Carson believed if we all did our own small part, it would make a big difference.
Introducing the Leaders Room,
where we'll make exhibits for some of many real-life people
who others listen to and like to follow. Thurgood Marshall cared so much about making things fair that he became a judge. That's the leader in the court of law, who listens to all sides of an argument, then decides what the fair thing to do is.
Thurgood Marshall spent his whole life making sure everything was fair and equal for everyone.
When Thurgood Marshall grew up, he became a United States Supreme Court Justice. That's like a super important judge. And he helped to decide a big case to make sure all schools were available to everyone.
Sacagawea was born over 200 years ago to indigenous people called the Shoshone. When she was growing up, 2 explorers named Lewis and Clark needed her help to find the way across North America to the Pacific Ocean, the biggest ocean in the world.
Finding a path to the Pacific Ocean was really hard back then. There weren't any planes, trains, or even roads. Good thing Sacagawea had some serious skills. They came in handy as she led the way, showing people can do more than you think.
Lewis and Clark were lucky to have Sacagawea helping them. She not only helped them as a translator, speaking the same language of some of the people along the way. She did a whole lot more, like recognizing markers in the path that other people, like the Shoshone, left behind to show the best route to travel. Cesar Chavez was born almost 100 years ago into a family of farm workers. That means they would pick fruits and vegetables for people to eat. It was super hard work, but Cesar came up with some really great ways to make farm work a lot better.
Cesar Chavez wanted to make farm work better for everyone in the country and showed that even though it may be hard, we can do a lot when we get organized and work together as a team.
Cesar Chavez made sure farm workers were treated fairly and got the things they needed, like cold water to drink and shady places to rest. Abraham Lincoln was born over 200 years ago in a small cabin. And when he grew up, he became the President of the United States.
Abraham Lincoln was one smart guy with one smart beard and one smart hat. He tried to always be honest, which is all about telling the truth and doing what's right, even if it's hard.
Abraham Lincoln was a really good president who earned the nickname Honest Abe.
Golda Meir loved solving problems and grew up to be the Prime Minister of Israel, the 3rd woman in the whole world to be a leader of a country.
When she was younger, Golden Meyer started a new club called the American Young Sisters Society to tell her whole neighborhood about big problems so they could all solve them together.
When a bunch of kids at school couldn't afford textbooks, Golda Meir had a fundraiser meeting to tell people about it, and it really worked. She helped a lot of kids get books. Golda went on to help her community for the rest of her life.
Cleopatra was the queen of Egypt, and she was born a long time ago.
When Cleopatra really wanted something, she asked the right way. First, by being prepared, knowing how to explain what you want. Next, by being confident and believing what you're saying. Lastly, by being polite, saying please and thank you.
When she grew up, Cleopatra became the Queen of Egypt, and even though she lived a long time ago, people are still interested in her today. There are tons of books and movies all about her. Introducing the Achievers Room,
where we'll make exhibits for some of many real-life people
who worked really hard to do something great.
Ella Fitzgerald was an amazing singer. Listening to her just makes you feel good. And she was one of the best at a style of singing called scatting. That's when you make musical sounds with your voice.
Ella Fitzgerald believed you should always be yourself because there's nobody in the world quite like you. And she loved the sound of musical instruments, and she got a kick out of trying to sound like them.
Ella Fitzgerald became known around the world as the First Lady of Song. People discovered so many styles of black music because of her, like swing, bebop, jazz, and blues, and, of course, scatting.
Wilma Rudolph was one of the best runners ever and the first American woman to win 3 gold medals, all at the same Olympic Games.
When Wilma Rudolph was younger, a sickness hurt her leg, so she could never run and play like her sisters could. When Wilma's leg got better, her first time running was pretty shaky, but she kept practicing and practicing. She showed no matter where you start, you can always get better.
Wilma Rudolph was totally inspiring. Even though she had trouble walking as a kid, she still grew up to be the fastest woman in the world, with 3 shiny gold medals.
Celia Cruz was a very talented singer, a dancer, and a snazzy dresser, and she made tons of people happy with her music. She was known as the Queen of Salsa, which is a fun kind of music you can dance to. Da-da-da-da-da-da.
Sometimes when Celia Cruz sang in front of people, she felt nervous, but she had a special trick. Holding something special can make you feel better, and Celia's claves sticks were very special.
Celia Cruz kept holding her special claves sticks, gaining confidence each time she sang until she didn't need them anymore. She made people all around the world happy with her music. Harry Houdini was a real-life magician, someone who does tricks that seem impossible. He was known around the world for his magic tricks and for his brave escape acts.
Harry Houdini wanted to be a brave performer and amaze people. Being a brave performer might be a little scary, but Harry stayed calm by taking a deep breath to feel better.
Harry Houdini was so brave. He became known all over the world for his incredible shows and unbelievable escape acts. Jesse Owens was born in the United States and became one of the greatest runners ever, but it wasn't easy. Jesse was often treated unfairly because he was black, so he had to work extra hard and focus on doing his best.
Jesse Owens competed against some of the best runners in the world. It was not always easy, but Jesse didn't listen to what anyone else was doing or saying. He focused on doing his best.
At the 1936 Olympics, Jesse Owens won a total of 4 gold medals. It was a really big deal. Jesse proved that being great doesn't depend on what you look like or where you come from.
Rukmini Devi was an amazing dancer who was born in India in the year 1904.
Bharatanatyam dance is one of India's oldest traditions that one day was no longer allowed to be performed anymore. When that rule was gone, Rukmini Devi worked hard to bring this beautiful dance back, which was hard to learn because nobody had done it for a long time.
Bells are part of the Bharatanatyam costume, and thanks to Rukmini Devi, we can all enjoy this dance and the story it tells about the people of India from long ago. I don't think we can go here yet.